I would like to share with you some examples about why psychological safety is so important and why it's not respected in many occasions. So really, if we know that psychological safety is so important, so crucial for team effectiveness, why is it that not all the companies care about it? Or, the same way that we care about um, physical safety, we use PPEs, we use hats, we use goggles, we use mouth covers. Why we don't cover our team against being not being psychologically safe? So the reason why is that there are many structures in companies that push people to act in different ways that don't meet the psychologically safe ways. For example, when companies define goals, and this is very common, most of the companies agree that they need to have performance goals, very strict. And the problem with these goals is that they push people. Sometimes they push people to do things that they don't agree with just in order to comply with this goal. So the problem is, if they don't meet the goal, what do you do afterwards? Mm. So this is the case of the Wells Fargo Bank, where there was a time where they had this very high, very difficult um, goals for sales. So employees, if they were not meeting the goals, they were having very bad repercussions. So they were pushed to do different ways in order to increase those sales. And those ways made more than 2 million bank accounts and credit card accounts be created without being authorized. The employees were really pushing people to get credits or to get new accounts, and this was a major, major problem for the Wells Fargo. When this was discovered, then the Wells Fargo was fined for 185 million for opening all these unauthorized accounts between 2011 and 2015. So this means that whenever you push the employees because you want them to achieve a specific goal that they may not be in agreement or that they may not think that they can accomplish, they're pushed to the things that are not good for the purpose of the company or for the good of the company or the community. So this when you don't meet with psychologically safety, what you do is, yeah, in the short term, you are getting results, but in the long term, you are losing people. You are losing not only your employees, but you're also losing customers. Another example happens in the hospital settings or in healthcare settings. So as per the studies done by Amy Edmondson, she studied within a hospital setting, and she discovered that the best tactic for establishing psychological safety was the demonstration by a team leader. She realized that the teams with the highest level of psychological safety were also the ones with leaders most likely to model listening and social sensitivity. So what happened was that she studied with two groups, and for one of the groups, whenever she interviewed the nurse about making mistakes, one of them says, "Oh, mistakes are serious because of the toxicity of the drugs we use, so you're never afraid to tell the nurse manager." So this means that in this group, they were showing more mistakes in the short term, but apparently they were speaking up about those mistakes. They were telling the mistakes to the nurse manager. There was another group on the other side that their rates of mistakes was really low. She was expecting that this group was more effective, but when she asked about mistakes, the nurse was saying, "You get put on trial. People get blamed for mistakes. You don't want to have made one." So this quote illustrates how people feel about mistakes. In one group, they were feeling super comfortable about saying if there was something wrong, and they were talking about it. So that's why mistakes were higher. But in the other group, they were not feeling comfortable. So maybe it wasn't that they were not making mistakes, but really they were hiding the mistakes. So imagine what can happen in a hospital if you're hiding mistakes. You can have people that can die, or you can have serious accidents happening because of that. That's why the leaders are the ones that need to work on how to build the psychological safety. If the manager nurse is punishing people because they are saying, hey, there was something wrong, I made the mistake, and they just punish them or yell at them, and this happens, it's very common. This is where people will not speak about that, and you don't want that. You really want people to feel safe to speak. There are then three main critical factors that you have to consider to build a psychologically safe environment. You have to build the right context where people feel comfortable, where you may have clear goals that are compelling and that are aligned to what the people can do. You have adequate resources. You share information. The rewards are also compelling and not forcing you or pushing you to do something that you don't want to, or you are not rewarded for saying what you really think. Then the second critical factor is belonging cues, and which has to do with active listening, looking in the eye, hugs, or things that people do that are more about not what you say, but how you say it. And the third part, as I said before, has to do with coaching. Modeling these behaviors by a leader is a critical factor. And if you find someone in the team who is pushing people away, who's not listening, then you have to coach them. So as a leader, you need to be the example, but also you need to help people that are not used to be or to be the psychologically safe environment. You need to help them to build one. There are some ideas that I want to share with you about how to create a virtual safe space, because of course psychological safety has to be not only in face to face, but also whenever you're working with a remote team. And these are some of the things that you can do. You have to facilitate feedback. You have to make people speak up, not only employees, but also customers or suppliers, to tell you what they really think. When you have more ideas, you can improve much better your product or your process. So you always have to welcome these ideas and also build processes or systems that allow people to provide feedback. Then gratitude sharing, that's also a very important way to create a safe space. There's a lot of companies that after every meeting they have a minute for saying why they are thankful for something, or who are they thankful for. Some people have some companies have systems so that you can thank or reward other peers. So all these things are good for building bonds among the people. Then you can have virtual happy hours, that you don't have people meeting right now face to face. Doesn't mean that you cannot have happy moments. So build virtual happy hours, or celebrate baby showers, or celebrate birthdays online. Everything can be done through the new tools that we have, like Zoom, or other channels like Slack, make allow you to communicate with other people. Then promoting meditation and mindfulness also helps to create a virtual safe space, because people are more relaxed, they reduce stress, so they are better ready to work and communicate better with someone. Then equality groups that I talked about for diversity are very, very useful so that people feel safe in a specific space where they have people with their same interests, could be the same race, could be the same gender, could be maybe the same background, all engineers or all women, or you have different personalities and different characteristics that you may want to share with other people that have your same interests. So uh, building equality groups, it's a great way to build that safe space. You can start with that. Then you can also have channels to discuss specific topics. A lot of companies use Slack, for example, to open these channels of communication, or you can just send an email or send a topic through in a newsletter, and you open that conversation with people. And well, you have to be open to whatever comes out of that, whatever feedback comes out of that. But the important thing is that people is able to express how they feel and what they think, and we have to value that feedback. And the last thing is, of course, coaching on emotional intelligence. So there's people that have psychological safety more embedded in the way they work. Some other people maybe learn different ways in other companies in the past. So you have to coach on emotional intelligence, how to improve active listening, how to listen, speaking, and seeing in the eye. Even if you're working remotely, you can do all those things, like having the camera open whenever you are in a Zoom video, for example, is a way to create a psychological safe space, because people see what you're doing and see that you care about them. If you are able to connect people during a crisis, or if you're able to connect people even remotely, then you will have a stronger team that will be able to come up with better ideas, better solutions, and better decisions in the future.